The Empire's scout ship drifted silently across the void. From the outside, it looked like a peaceful mission, small, fast, unarmed. But inside, every sensor was live. Every camera pointed toward the edge of human space. The mission was clear. Test the border, record the response, and retreat. Lieutenant Grail, young officer from the Empire's Outer Ring Command, leaned forward in his seat. His claws tapped the metal armrest nervously. He had read the reports. Earth had been quiet for years. Far too quiet. No trade, no alliance, no talks, just silence. The Empire hated silence. Silence meant secrets. They won't respond. His, Captain muttered. Primitive species. Still tied to a single planet. No real fleet. Grawl nodded slowly, but doubt still sat in his stomach like a stone. He didn't trust that silence. He had seen what happened when the Empire underestimated other civilizations. This time felt wrong. The ship crossed the invisible line, an unmarked boundary deep in neutral space. It wasn't official. There were no satellites, no defense. Platforms. But everyone in the outer territories knew, you don't go past that line. You just don't. But the Empire had grown arrogant. The Council wanted to expand, and Earth was in the way. Crossing mark, the pilot said. The ship's lights flickered. Everyone froze. Was that? The captain started? A soft voice crackled. Through there comes a human voice. Calm, clear, and cold. You have 5 seconds to turn around. The bridge crew looked at one another. Who said that? No source, the communications officer said. No ship on scans. No station. It came from everywhere. The captain laughed. Ignore it. Keep course. Let them know who controls this space. Didn't laugh. He stared out the window, eyes scanning the stars. They were still alone, weren't they? The voice returned. 4 seconds. Where's it coming from? The captain barked. 3. The crew scrambled at controls. Scanners flared, but found nothing. No ships, no satellites, just empty space. 2. Full reverse. The captain shouted, Too late, Growl whispered. The stars blinked. The scout ship screamed as space itself folded in front of them. A ripple, like heat over metal, twisted into shape, then solidified. A shape appeared. Not a ship, not a weapon. A shadow, wall of black steel and light. No engines, no windows. It's just pure mass. Then it vanished, and so did the scout ship. In the Empire's war rooms, hours later, a report blinked onto the screen. Scout Unit 47A, signal lost. No data, no distress call. Just gone. The commanders argued. Some blamed equipment failure. Others believed in pirates, space storms, rogue black. Holes. But one general, old and quiet, leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes. It was them, he said. Earth. The room fell silent. They drew the line, he continued, and we just stepped over it. But the High Council didn't believe in ghosts. They didn't believe in fear. They ordered another ship, this one armed, bigger, faster, louder, and they sent it directly toward the same border. On Earth, in a cold underground chamber deep below the Pacific Ocean, a man stood before a massive screen. His uniform bore no rank, no name. Only a symbol, a burning star behind a shield. He looked up as the next ship crossed the line. Authorization? The AI asked. Project Phoenix, the man said. Phase 1. Activate. Activate. In orbit around Neptune, a ship stirred. It had no crew, no lights, but it woke like something alive, old, and angry. They called it the Silence. The second Empire ship cruised in without resistance. It picked up nothing, no defense grid, no threats. Its captain laughed at the silence. Nothing here. He said, See? Empty, weak. But the stars above him began to shift. They weren't stars. They were drones, thousands of them hidden inside asteroid shells. Using Earth's advanced cloak tech, they moved without sound. They moved like a machine with one mind, the Empire. Ship didn't see them until it was too late. First, the engines died. Then, the shields collapsed. Then, a single message flashed across the screen. This was your second warning. There will not be a third. The ship vanished in a silent flash of heat and light. No explosion, just silence. The Empire lost 2 ships. No bodies were found. No footage returned. Only whispers, the Council. Panicked. Some demanded war. Some begged for diplomacy. Others denied anything had happened. But Earth made no announcement. No threats, no claims. Only silence on Mars. Earth's military leaders met in the underground chamber known only as Red Core. They reviewed data, watched sensor footage, and listened to intercepted Empire comms. They're rattled. One general said, "They won't back down." Another replied, "Arrogance won't let them." "Then we hit first," someone said. "I'm waiting this time." But the first man, the one with no name, raised his hand. "Not yet," he said. "They still think we're reacting? Let them believe that." Turn to the AI. Begin Project Phoenix. Phase 2. Deploy Ghost Scouts to all sectors near the border. No contact, no firing, just eyes. "Yes, Commander." The man nodded. "They crossed the line," he said softly. "Now we remind them who drew it." In the far reaches of Empire space, rumors began spreading. A smuggler saw a ship move through solid rock on an asteroid. A trader claimed Earth tech could hijack Empire communications silently. A soldier whispered that a human fleet was hiding inside a gas giant. Waiting, the Empire labeled these lies propaganda, fear stories, but fear spreads fast, especially when it's true. 1 week later, an Empire station near the edge of human space received a transmission from one of their own missing ships. The signal was broken, but one phrase came through clearly. "They're not what we thought, not primitive, not weak." The transmission ended with a scream, not human, but terrified. That scream played in secret meetings. Behind locked doors, it echoed in the minds of Empire leaders, and still, Earth said nothing. No war declaration, no announcement, just silence. But silence is not peace. Silence is waiting. Silence is a warning. And the Empire, for all its power, had already made its first and final mistake. They crossed the line, and Earth was ready. The Empire's high command was furious. 2 ships gone. No wreckage, no survivors, no explanation. The Council demanded answers. Generals shouted in meetings. Scientists checked space maps again and again, but nothing made sense. The border near Earth looked normal, quiet, cold, dark. Too quiet, so they sent the Valiant Wind. It was not a scout. It was a warship. Heavy armor, powerful plasma cannons, shield generators, a crew of over 3,000. A floating city of war. Its captain, Oryx Terror, was known for destroying rebel fleets and wiping out pirate strongholds. He didn't fear Earth. To him, this was a mission of revenge. "They took 2 of ours," he said. "We'll take 10 of theirs." As Valiant Wind approached the same border, the crew relaxed. There was no threat, no warning, no signal like before, only silence. "Are we in human space?" asked the sensor officer. "Yes," replied the pilot. "Fully crossed, still no resistance." Captain Vorax grinned. "Then let's wake them. Up." He ordered a scan sweep. Long-range radar. Deep space probes. Active beacons. He wanted them to know the Empire was here now and ready. For 5 minutes, everything stayed calm. Then something strange happened. The ship's lights flickered. One by one, control panels on the bridge dimmed. Power surge. Asked the engineer. "No. Something's pulling energy out of our systems," he said. "Like it's draining us. Shut it down," Vorak shouted. The ship didn't respond. Suddenly, a warning alert flashed across every screen. "External contact. Unknown object. Approaching fast." "Where?" Vorax demanded. The view outside was normal. No ships, no drones. Just stars then. Stars moved. Something massive blocked them, a shape dark, silent, impossible. It didn't look like a ship. It looked like space itself had bent into a weapon. It had no lights, No engines, no sound, just presence. Before valiant wind could fire, it struck from the void. A beam of light thinner than a needle sliced across the warship's hull. No explosion. No fire, just heat and silence. The beam didn't burn, erased. Whole sections of the ship vanished. Without a sound, one moment they were their walls, steel people. The next, nothing. Screams echoed on the bridge as emergency doors slammed shut, sealing crew members inside dying rooms. "Return fire," Aurak shouted. His gunners tried. Cannons spun, targeting systems locked on. But there was nothing to lock onto. The object was gone, vanished, like it had never been there. Then, second strike hit. This time, the beam didn't touch the ship. It hit space around it suddenly. Gravity twisted. The valiant wind shook like a leaf in a storm. Crew fell. System shut. Down. Time itself seemed to freeze for a heartbeat. Then the main power core exploded from the inside. Bright, white light, then darkness, then silence from Earth. The event was watched in perfect clarity, in a control room deep below Antarctica. Commander. Illyra stood with her arms crossed, eyes fixed on the live feed. "Confirmation?" she asked. The AI responded, "Target neutralized. No escape pods. No transmissions. Clean." A technician whispered, "Did we just destroy a city-sized warship with one weapon?" "No," Illyra replied. "We erased it, that's the difference." Weapon was called Skyfire, a fusion of light, gravity, and soundless energy. Developed in secret over 30 years, only 5 of them existed. Only one had been used. Now, the Empire knew, but they still didn't understand. Back in the Empire's central sector, chaos erupted. Emergency meetings. Closed-door councils. Some demanded full war. Others begged for caution. They had never faced this before, an enemy that didn't show themselves. Didn't speak, didn't negotiate, just warned once. Then struck like a ghost. Many believed Earth was bluffing, using tricks. Hidden mines, black holes, illusions. But others, the older ones, remembered Earth's early days. The planet had once fought among itself world wars, civil wars, rebellions, and then peace. For 100 years, Earth had been quiet, but peace doesn't mean weakness, it means preparation, and now it was showing. The Empire labeled Earth a rogue advanced civilization. The public was told Earth had stolen tech, nothing to worry about, no threat. But inside military circles, Earth's name was now spoken with fear. New plans were drawn. A new fleet was prepared, larger, smarter, more cautious. They called it Operation Glasswave. Their goal, surround Earth, block its signals, starve it into surrender. But no one asked, what if Earth didn't surrender? What if it invited war? Back on Earth, hidden beneath the surface of the moon, a small group of soldiers stood before a long black table. On it were holograms of Empire, fleets, planetary routes, invasion patterns. A man with silver eyes, General Riker, spoke softly. "They think we erased their ship with one weapon. Let them. They'll send more," someone said. "Yes," Riker nodded. "The plan." One young soldier raised a hand. "What if they send too many?" Riker smiled. "We don't need to fight them all. We just need to remind them." "Remind them of what?" He leaned forward. "That Earth is not prey. They came for fear. Let's give it to them." At the edge of Earth's solar system, hidden among the icy rocks of the Kuiper Belt, another human weapon began to power up. It wasn't a beam. It wasn't a ship. It was something else. Something worse. A machine built to control time at the micro level, to pause events, to split reality. The project was called Black Thread, and it was almost ready. But Earth still waited, still silent, still calm, because they didn't want to destroy the Empire. They wanted the galaxy to see what happens when peace is broken by arrogance. They wanted them to watch, to learn, to fear. The fire that appeared from nowhere. This wasn't the real weapon. It was only a warning, and the next warning would burn brighter. The Empire needed a prisoner. After losing 3 ships without warning, they needed answers. Not rumors, not fear. Something real, so they sent a stealth cruise. Quiet, fast, invisible to normal scans. Its mission was simple: get in, grab someone important from Earth's outer zone, and get out fast. The cruiser reached one of Earth's listening stations near the edge of Saturn's orbit. The human outpost looked small, only 6 crew members, a few drones, and old-style satellite links. A perfect target. The Empire attacked fast. Before the humans could react, 2 were dead. 3 were captured. 1 resisted. He wasn't big, wasn't armed. Just a man with sharp eyes and a calm face. His name was Commander Rafik Harlan. He killed 2 Empire soldiers with his bare hands before being hit with a stun pulse. Even unconscious, his fists were clenched. They brought him back to the Empire's high-security base on Dr. Voss-6. They expected fear. He gave them silence. The first interrogation started within hours. Hot lights, noise, pain injections, mind-scanning tech. But Rafik didn't scream, didn't talk, didn't move. For 3 days straight, they tried everything. Then he finally spoke, not to beg. He said one sentence you don't understand. What you've started. The lead interrogator, Director Velrose, stared at him. What does that mean? Rafik didn't answer. They scanned his brain again, but something was wrong. His mind was trained, locked, protected. Like a maze with no end. Empire scientists were confused. His neural patterns shift every time we get close. This kind of resistance isn't natural. He's been trained against psychic scans, Velrose asked. More than trained, the tech whispered. He's beating the machine. In a dark observation room above the prison cell, High Commander Eric's watched the feed. Why doesn't he fear us? He muttered. Rafik sat alone, staring at the wall. He looked calm. Too calm, Eric's frowned. What if we've underestimated Earth? Velrose laughed. It's just 1 soldier. Eric shook his head. No, this one knows something. On the 5th day, they changed tactics. They showed Rafik images of Empire fleets, weapons, cities. They told him Earth would burn, that resistance was hopeless. He didn't blink. Then they brought in the other prisoners, the 2 surviving crew from the station. They threatened them. Put blades to their throats. Rafik closed his eyes and began to speak, not out of fear, but with cold, focused intent. He described the Empire's weak points, their blind spots. He told them about the failure of their outer fleet's energy design, the gaps in their planetary sensor nets. At first, the interrogators thought he was lying, but then the data matched. Every detail was correct. He knew things he shouldn't. Classified military secrets. High Council decisions. Even the location of black site factories. How do you know all this? Velrose demanded. Rafik looked him in the eye. You think you're watching us? You're not. You've been the ones under the microscope the whole time. Velrose backed away, suddenly cold. How? Rafik smiled. You took the wrong prisoner. Later. That night, alarms rang through the prison. Something was wrong. The lights flickered. Walls shook. Doors opened without command. An automated voice echoed across the base. System breach detected. Human signal detected inside core systems. Eric's rushed to the control room. How did they hack us? One officer shouted, There's no incoming transmission. It's coming from inside. From the prisoner's cell, Rafik was still sitting calmly. On the wall behind him, the Empire's own security system had turned into a live feed. Images played. Empire ships burning. Secret labs exposed. Spy stations and other systems destroyed. All real. All recorded before Rafik was captured. He hadn't come with nothing. He had brought a message. You thought you caught me? He said to the camera. You walked into our trap. Moments later, the lights died. All systems crashed. The base fell silent. When backup power came online, the guards rushed to the cell. Rafik was gone. So were the other 2 humans, and outside the base. 3 Empire cruisers lay floating in space shut down. powerless. Their cores melted from the inside. The Empire had captured a soldier, but they hadn't broken him. He had broken them. A few days later, deep in Earth's Shadow Command Hub, Rafik walked into the main briefing room. He was bruised but alive. Generals stood and saluted. "Mission complete," he said. "They saw just enough." "You gave them intel?" one asked. "I gave them fear," he replied. Back on Dravo 6, Director Velros sat in the dark, reviewing security footage again and again. Every time he saw Rafik's eyes, he felt something strange. Not hate, not anger, but warning that man had. Walked into their strongest prison, walked out like it was nothing. The Empire didn't just lose a battle, they lost the illusion of control. And now, everyone in the galaxy knew Earth had soldiers you couldn't break, and they were only just beginning. The Empire still refused to believe it was losing, even after 3 ships vanished, even after their strongest. Prison was breached from inside, even after 1 human soldier made fools of their highest commanders. They still believed Earth could be controlled. The High Council gathered in the Golden Chamber on Zorthan Prime, the Empire's capital world. The meeting was private, no recordings, no outside transmissions. Counselor Threx pounded the table. "We must crush them. Earth is dangerous." "But it is alone," General Rulon nodded. "We outnumber them. We have fleets, weapons, worlds." But Counselor Jara spoke calmly. "What if that's what they want us to think?" she asked. The others laughed. She didn't single quotes. Earth had said nothing since the last attacks. No broadcasts. No blame, just silence. Dangerous silence. "We've already sent messages," Threx said. They refused to reply. "Then we force their hand," General Rulon said. "We send the message again louder." The council voted, and the message was prepared. A formal transmission, sent directly to Earth. It played in every frequency, in every language. To the leaders of Earth, surrender your territories, technology, and military assets, or be erased. You have 3 cycles to respond. This is your final warning. The message echoed across space, across systems, across ships, on Earth. The transmission was received instantly, but no one rushed to reply. In a black glass command center, hidden beneath Greenland's ice shelf, Earth's prime strategist, Commander Ala Mendez watched the video silently around her. Top human military minds waited. "They expect fear," one officer said. "They expect a reply." Another added. Commander Mendez stood slowly. "Prepare a response," she said, but not words. She tapped the console. A secure line opened. 10 seconds later, Earth's spy network activated across 50. Empire worlds, satellites hidden in trade routes, probes disguised as debris, agents disguised as workers and citizens. Within 2 hours, the footage arrived. Live feeds, raw data. Shocking truth, the locations were secret. Empire bases, outposts, shipyards, command bunkers, hidden for decades. Now fully exposed, every one of them was already under human watch on Zorthan Prime. The Empire Council sat waiting for Earth's answer. Suddenly, the screens in the chamber lit up. But it wasn't Earth's leader. It was their own secrets. The feed showed Empire ships refueling at a supposedly invisible moon base. Another screen showed a weapons factory on a moon, listed as abandoned. Then another image of a high-level Empire general entering a black site facility that didn't exist on any map. Every secret now public. The council chamber filled with gasps. Then a message appeared on all screens. "You are not the only ones watching. This was not our first warning. This was your last." The screens went black. No signature, no sound, just darkness. The council erupted into panic. "Shut everything down. Cut off all long-range comms. Find the leak." But it wasn't a leak. It was a lesson, and Earth had delivered it without firing a single shot on a quiet planet near the edge of human space. A young boy watched the intercepted broadcast with his father. "Did we do that?" He asked his father, a retired Earth Fleet officer. nodded. "We didn't just do it," he said. "We planned it years ago." "Why?" Father looked at him. "To stop a war before it starts." Back on Zorthon Prime, the Council's emergency meeting continued into the night. General Rulon was furious. "This is not war, it's mockery. They humiliate us," shouted Counselor Threx. "They think we are fools." Counselor Jera stayed silent. She watched the message again. Watched the way. Earth exposed them. No threats. Just proof. Cold, sharp proof. "They didn't attack us," she whispered. "They showed us what they already know." No one listened. Within days, the Empire launched new fleets, double the size, triple the weapons. Thousands of ships lined up along the Earth border, they called it. Operation Crownfire. Earth watched silently, in orbit around Mars, Captain Nia. Grant stood aboard the human flagship Aegis. Nova, she saw the movement, the fleet building, the signals increasing. She didn't panic. She smiled. They really didn't listen. She said behind her. Her crew nodded. "Orders, Captain?" She tapped her console. "Send our signal to the silence drones. And power up Heaven's spear. Slowly. Let them see it this time." "Yes, ma'am." A moment later, thousands of Empire scanners picked up something terrifying. A massive field of human tech activating across Earth's outer zone. Orbital weapons, defense grids, ghost satellites, and then the sky itself began to shimmer. Not a shield, not a wall, but a ripple like the stars. Themselves were bending. The Empire ships pulled back slightly. Some captains hesitated. Even machines hesitated, because what they saw wasn't natural. It wasn't explainable, and it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be understood. This was Earth's message, the kind of message you don't answer with words, the kind you remember, back in the council chamber. The generals received the final Earth transmission, a single sentence. "You chose not to listen." The room fell silent. The war hadn't even started, and yet the Empire was already losing. The planet Varnak 12 was nothing special. It had no famous cities, no great leaders, no powerful weapons, but it was useful. It was the Empire's main supply station for the outer fleets. Fuel depots, food production, maintenance yards it kept. The war machine running, that made it important. And important meant targeted. But no one saw it coming one day. Varnak 12 was busy as usual. Cargo ships came and went. Soldiers trained in the wide courtyards. Engineers worked on heavy machines. People laughed, argued, and lived their normal lives. Then everything stopped. It began with static. The main communications tower began to crackle. Signals turned to noise. Long-range scans failed. Local systems showed nothing wrong, but something felt off. The sky above the planet shimmered, not with clouds, with something else, something hidden. A merchant ship captain named Relo looked up and squinted. "What is that?" His co-pilot stared, wide. It's moving." Before anyone could react, the stars over Varnak 12 vanished. They were blocked by something massive. No lights. No shape, just a shadow. And then silence. No alarms, no attacks, just a pulse. A wave of gravity rolled across the planet. Buildings cracked, fuel tanks exploded. Ships lost control and fell from the sky. The pulse had no sound, but it tore through. Metal and stone like a silent scream, and then everything disappeared. Not exploded, not burned, just gone. From orbit, scout ship watching from far away sent a single message. Varnak 12 has vanished. There is no debris, no survivors, no signal, just a black void. And then the scout ship vanished too at the Empire's central war room. The news hit like a bomb. Admirals stood frozen as they watched the transmission again and again. A full planet gone. "How is this possible?" shouted Grand Marshal Corrin. A scientist responded, "It wasn't destroyed. It was deleted." "What does that mean?" "We don't know. They'd never seen anything like it. No weapon in the Empire could do what happened at Varnak-12. It was as if something reached through space and erased matter itself, like a file being removed from a computer. In truth, it wasn't a weapon in the normal sense. It was Oblivion, Earth's Titan-class Black Ops warship. It had no official record, crew photos, no launch date, no engine signature, because Oblivion was never meant to be found. It was never meant to be chased. It was meant to end things. And now, it had finally been used. On Earth, deep beneath the Arctic Ocean, a secret room monitored the impact commander. Illyra stood beside a screen showing Varnic's last moment, a flash of distortion, followed by a black circle. "Reports?" she asked. "Successful," replied her assistant. "No signal left behind, no evidence of human presence." Response? Confusion, fear. Empire has declared the event a cosmic anomaly for now. Illyra turned away from the screen. Let them lie to themselves. The ones who matter already understand. Across the Empire, rumors exploded. People whispered about a ghost ship, a machine built to kill entire planets without warning, a ship that left nothing behind. Some called it a myth, others knew better. Inside the Empire's intelligence division, Agent Verox was ordered to find the truth. He was one of the best, sharp, loyal. Deadly, he reviewed every report from Earth's early contact years. Primitive, scoffed. But the more he read, the more things didn't make sense. Earth had jumped technology levels too fast. 1 decade. They were using fusion drives. 2 decades later, they had field warp engines. And now? Now, they were erasing planets. Verox looked at the names of Earth's known war programs: Phoenix, Spire, and Spear, and something worse: Black Thread. He didn't know what that one was. No one did. But the name showed up again and again, in hidden data packets, secret transmissions, and redacted files. Verox swallowed hard. Earth wasn't catching up to the Empire. They had already passed it, and now they were moving in silence. On Zorthon Prime, the Council received private footage smuggled from a hidden observer. It showed a blurry shape moving through the void near Varnic's last known location. It had no form, no light, just mass. The shape moved without sound or thrust. One counselor watched the feed 5 times, then leaned forward. "That's not a ship." The others stared at him. "That's something else," he whispered. "Something we don't understand. Must attack Earth now," General Rulon said. "Invasion. No more waiting, and risk more Varnics." Jara snapped. The Council argued for hours. Some wanted to back down. Others wanted to burn everything. But none of them knew what Earth would do next. Because Earth didn't speak. It didn't explain. It simply acted. And every action was a warning. First, they warned with silence. Then, they warned with fire. Now, they warned with absence. Back on Earth, General Riker stood on the highest floor of a black tower buried in Mars' southern pole. He looked out over a glass screen showing Empire fleet movements. "Have they moved?" he asked. His aide replied, "Some fleets have pulled back. Others are gathering. They're hesitating." Riker nodded. "Good. Let the fear grow." He turned toward the wall, where a small red light blinked. Status: a black thread. 2 weeks from full activation. Riker smiled. "We won't need to." "Fire it, sir. They'll break before that." Fear is faster than war. In deep space, near the edge of known space lanes, a group of neutral ships received an open signal from an unknown source. The message was simple: do not trust the Empire. We do not want war, but we will end it. We are Earth. 4. The first time in centuries, the galaxy felt something it hadn't felt in a long time. Balance not from power, but from fear. And Earth had delivered it with the quiet disappearance of a single planet. The Empire's fleet waited. They had sent messages, 3 warnings to offers, and finally 1 demand. All were ignored. No reply, no signal. Nothing from Earth. The last message had ended with a simple threat: you have 1 solar cycle to comply, or we erase your sky. The humans didn't answer. On board the Empire's command ship, Torak Senth, Supreme Warlord Kirith tapped his claws against the armrest. The stars outside the viewing glass shimmered, peaceful and empty. Too quiet. Time's up, he growled. Begin the demonstration. Below, Earth remained dark and calm. No defense systems activated, or no warning lights blinked in orbit. Just a quiet, blue planet floating in space. They launched the first wave. 12 plasma drones entered the atmosphere, each one targeting a major communication hub. London, Snow, Apollo, Tokyo, New York. The drones screamed through the sky like falling daggers, their heat signatures lighting up the darkness. They expected panic. They expected surrender. Instead, they got nothing. The drones struck, but they never reached their targets. Midway down, all 12 vanished in a flash of golden light. Not explosions, not sabotage. Just dash gone. Silence again. Commander Varric looked at Kareth. Shall we proceed with Phase 2? Kirith narrowed his eyes. They deactivated our drones mid-fall. That is no common shield. Some kind of teleportation? A wormhole disruptor? Too precise? Too fast? He stood. Send recon probes. One eye's inside. Earth's orbit. Now. The probes went in. They never came back. All signals were cut. No data. Just static. Then the silence ended. A sound echoed through space. Clear and low. Not a language. A tone. A single deep hum that vibrated through the entire fleet. It wasn't loud, but it wasn't natural. Every soldier on the bridge paused. Their weapons flickered. Lights dimmed. For 1 second, the great warship Torak Senth felt cold. What was that? Varric whispered. Kareth didn't answer, because the Earth had finally replied. Something moved from behind the planet's moon. A shape emerged. At first it looked like a shadow, then the shape grew larger, wider. It wasn't just one ship. It was many black triangles, sleek, silent, each one moving like it knew exactly where the Empire's fleet was. No broadcast, no challenge, just presence. One of the younger officers began shaking. They're not broadcasting transponder codes. Course they're not, Kirith said. They want us to guess. Still, no shots were fired. The Empire held position. So did the humans. Then Earth sent one signal. Just for words in galactic standard. You fired the first. That was it. Kirith clenched his fists. Deploy full barrage. No more waiting. 12,000 Empire warships opened fire. Missiles, lasers, plasma storms. The sky lit up with fire. But the human ships didn't move. Not at first. Then they disappeared. Vanished. Kirith stood up fast. Where before he could finish, alarms screamed through Torak Senth. Ships behind them were exploding. Not targeted, not sabotaged, just collapsing from within. Systems failed, engines ruptured, artificial. Gravity flipped, then the human ships reappeared right inside the Empire's formation. How did they get there? No one knew. They were using something beyond known physics. One human ship passed through a cruiser like it was fog. The cruiser blinked, then imploded. Another ship launched a beam so narrow it looked harmless until 5 Empire. Frigates lost all power at once and crashed into each other. The humans still didn't speak, but their message was clear. This was no defense. This was retribution. Back on Earth, the cities remained calm. Civilians didn't even look up. No panic. No media chaos. 'Cause Earth had known. This day would come. They had waited, and they had prepared. The Empire's second wave tried to retreat. Too late. Each exit point they opened was intercepted. Humans weren't chasing them. They were already there. By the end of 1 hour, half the Empire fleet was gone. Kirith watched as his screens went dark one by one. How? How did they build this? He whispered to Commander Varric, stared at the silent, floating planet below. They didn't build it in front of us, he said quietly. They built it in silence, in shadows, while we laughed at them. One last human ship approached the Torak Senth. It stopped just meters away, no weapons visible. No shields raised, but its presence was louder than any weapon. A final message came through. This is Earth's border. You crossed it. Now you will learn why no one else ever has. Then the sky above Earth burned, not from the Empire's fire, but from Earth's. And Kareth finally understood. The silence. It's the warning. The war had reached a boiling point. Across the stars, the Ashrani Empire had suffered defeat after defeat. Their fleets were broken, their command centers turned into dust. And still, their leaders did not surrender. They believed Earth would eventually grow tired. That humans would stop once they proved a point. They were wrong. In orbit around the burning world of Ventari 5, the last remaining Ashrani command, Station sent a desperate call to the Empire's High Senate. We have lost contact with 6 outer sectors. Earth ships move without sound. Without warning, we see the flashes before we die. We beg send reinforcements or surrender, but the Senate refused. Their pride was older than their wisdom. They declared one final push-a direct strike at Earth itself. They didn't know. Earth had already seen it coming. General Kyra Denton stood inside the war room of Earth's Defense Corps. Her eyes locked on a 3D display showing the massive Ashrani formation gathering near Titan's shadow. 30 warships. 1 super dreadnought. All heading for Earth space. The room fell silent as the last intelligence report came in. They're going to cross Jupiter's zone in 10 hours, the officer said. Then Earth orbit within 40. Kyra didn't blink. She turned to her. Comes officer. Send it. The message had already been recorded hours ago. A warning, but also a promise. Simple, cold. This is Earth. If you continue this path, there will be no more warnings. Turn around now, or be turned to ash. The Ashrani received the message within minutes. Laughter filled their halls. They had seen Earth's strength, but they believed it was nearly over. They thought humans had shown their best. They were wrong again. Aboard Earth's Titan-class warship Black Sky, Commander Elias Reeve received his final orders. You are the final line, Kyra's voice came through. If they cross the Saturn threshold, you are cleared for total deployment. No restraints. Elias stood on the bridge, silent for a long second. Then he nodded. All units, battle formation. Load the spinal lance. Prep the EMP veil. This is it. As the Ashrani fleet moved through Saturn's orbit, Earth ships emerged from the rings like ghosts. No alarms, no threats, just silence. Ashrani war leader Varna Kell stepped forward on his bridge, smirking. So they're here. Good. Let them witness true fire. He raised his hand to command the forward battery, but he never got the chance. Without a sound, the Black Sky moved. One shot, one line of white energy cut through space, and the Ashrani dreadnought shattered into 2 perfect halves. A moment later, the halves exploded, tearing apart 7 escort ships with it. The rest of the Earth fleet followed like a storm. Gravity pulses crushed Ashrani ships before they could fire. Kinetic rods traveling at 10% light speed sliced through. The enemy like butter. The sky turned red with flame. Varnik's command ship was hit next. It cracked, split, then vanished in a white blaze of atomic fire. No survivors. No escape pods. By the time the battle ended, the Ashrani fleet no longer existed. Nothing remained but drifting, molten wrecks. Back on Earth, Kyra watched the data. Feed stop? Is that all of them? Someone asked. No, Kyra said softly. But they know now. At the edge of the galaxy, other empires watched the footage. Silent, pale. The message was clear. Earth had drawn the line. And now, it was final. There were no more warnings left. Only fire. The galaxy changed that day. Not slowly, not in whispers, but in a sudden, sharp moment. It started with silence. After the destruction of the Ashrani strike fleet near Saturn, every known empire paused. Their ships stopped moving. Their spies stopped sending updates. Their leaders stared at the same broadcast, a simple clip sent by Earth. It showed the Titan-class warship, black sky cutting through 30 Ashrani ships like they were nothing. Then the clip ended with a message calm, unshaken, direct. This is Earth. We are done defending. From this moment, we lead. And the galaxy believed it. Even the races that once ruled the stars, the Zarketh, the twin-brained Solari, the cold wine dwellers from Nabari Prime now watched Earth with fear. Earth had no council seat before. No. Earth had every seat in Earth's orbit. Above a peaceful blue world, humanity's largest fleet floated in formation. Not in defense, not in fear, but in command. Admiral Kyra Denton stood aboard the black sky, speaking to over 400 representatives across known space. Her voice was steady, her face calm. The time of broken treaties is over, she said. The time of silence while empires burn is over. We did not ask for war, we warned. We held back, but the galaxy wanted to test us, so we answered. Some delegates nodded slowly, others avoided her gaze. But no one spoke. Kyra continued. From now on, Earth will monitor peace. Across all sectors, we will not occupy. We will not conquer. But we will act. Quickly. Decisively. A Harlan ambassador finally stood up. His kind had once mocked Earth as a soil species. Now he bowed his head. What happens if someone defies this new order? Kyra didn't smile. They'll be reminded. Once. After that, they'll be removed. The galaxy understood. Earth wasn't cruel. But it was done being kind to the wicked. Over the next weeks, things changed. Slave markets on the rim vanished. Raiders once feared across deep space fled or surrendered. Planets destroyed by Ashrani were rebuilt with human engineers working day and night. Earth didn't build an empire. It built trust. It offered defense satellites to weak worlds, free of cost. It deployed food units to famine zones that had been ignored for centuries. It even forgave debts owed by species who had once fought against Iton. One condition, peace. Commander Elias Reeve, now a symbol of Earth's response, stood on a newly built station above the ruins of Ashrani Prime. He stared at the rebuilt skyline. I never thought we'd be the ones helping them, a soldier beside him whispered. We're not helping them, Elias replied. We're helping everyone learn what peace really means. Far away, deep in a sector untouched by light, a secret war council watched from the shadows. 9 species, all once powerful, all angry. They've turned the galaxy into their throne, one growled. They claim not to rule, but every species. Bose hissed another. The eldest among them, scarred being from the void systems, leaned forward. Earth showed its power, but they also showed a rule. They do not strike first, only answer. There was silence, then a slow, wicked smile. Then let's make them answer again. But they didn't understand. Earth wasn't waiting to defend anymore. Humanity was watching. And this time, they would see the storm before it arrived, because the galaxy didn't belong to anyone now. It belonged to Earth. Not through fear, but through force earned. Peace, and when humans said never again, they meant it. Because this time, stars didn't just see Earth, they followed it.